Hey everyone, ever heard of a marketing campaign that took a little detour? Well, buckle up, because today I'm talking about Braniff International Airlines and their infamous fly-in leather campaign of 1987. So picture this, Braniff just upgraded all their seats to fancy, comfy leather, and they wanted the whole world to know. Sounds like a great idea, right? The English tagline fly-in leather was catchy and classy, but oh boy, things went south when they translated it into Spanish. Their Spanish version, Vuela en Cuero, was supposed to broadcast this luxury, but here's the kicker. In Spanish, en cuero sounds almost identical to en cueros, which has a totally different meaning. Flying naked. Yep, you heard it right. The ad went live on TV and radio, and you can imagine the confusion. Now, instead of imagining themselves chilling on plush leather seats, Spanish-speaking customers were picturing, well, a different kind of flight experience. The media had a field day with this. Braniff certainly got the spotlight, just not in the way they intended. It's a classic case of lost in translation. And while it might seem like a major blunder, it's a reminder of how important cultural context is in marketing. Braniff's slip-up is still a popular story among aviation enthusiasts and marketers alike. So next time you hear about a brand trying to go global, think of Braniff and their leather, or should I say naked, seats. Sometimes even the best intentions can lead to the wildest misunderstandings.
Got Milk is a witty ad campaign created for the California Milk Processor Board and is considered one of the most successful campaigns in U.S. history. As glorious as it was in the U.S., this milk ad turned sour for the Latino consumers. The expression was interpreted as, "Are you lactating?" in its Spanish version, which is nothing close to the original meaning. It was also thought to be culturally offensive to the Latino mothers in a way that they are not doing their duties properly as a mom.
If your soda's name sounds like Wax Tadpole, you're probably having a branding crisis. Coca-Cola's name originally came from its two main ingredients, cocaine and cola berries. Yep, you heard that right. Cocaine. But don't worry, the recipe has changed. When the iconic drink made its way to China, things got hilariously lost in translation. They named it Kikukila. Sounds cool, right? Well, depending on the dialect, it could mean female horse stuffed with wax. Or brace yourselves, bite the wax tadpole. Not exactly thirst-quenching, huh? Thankfully, Coca-Cola rebranded it to Kikukule, which translates to happiness in the mouth. Much better. So, next time you sip that fizzy goodness, remember, it could have been a waxy tadpole.
The American car manufacturer, Ford, went haywire when it launched its Pinto model in Brazil in the late 1970s. The name Pinto was derived from the phrase Pinto horse to represent its speed and power. Unfortunately, it is Brazilian Portuguese slang for tiny male genitals, or a man with tiny genitalia. As a result, this poorly researched brand name straight up made its way to the Hall of Shame. Ford did compensate for its mistake later by renaming that model to Corcel, which means horse in English. Although the name turned out to be much better, that wasn't the only problem that the Pinto model had. Due to its faulty product design, the Pinto cars could easily blow up in rear-ended collisions, causing hundreds of deaths. With so many lawsuits against Ford, they had to stop the production in 1980. Well, in this case, changing the brand name for the global market didn't really solve the disaster.
We've all been there. Stuck in your head, impossible to forget. Jingles, slogans, they burrow their way into our brains. Think about it, just do it, I'm loving it, finger-licking good. See, told you, these little phrases, they're more than just words. They're the heart and soul of a brand. They tell a story, they make you feel something, or at least they're supposed to. Picture it, 1960s America, the Pepsi generation, young, cool, full of life, and their slogan, "Come alive, you're in the Pepsi generation." Perfect, right? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because this is where things get interesting. Pepsi decides to go global, expand their empire to the massive market of China. Sounds good, right? Except there's a slight hiccup, a teeny tiny translation error. Turns out, "Come alive, you're in the Pepsi generation" didn't quite translate as planned. In China, it meant something closer to Pepsi. It brings your ancestors back from the grave. Not exactly the image they were going for. Imagine that marketing meeting. So, we're going to tell the Chinese people that Pepsi can resurrect the dead. Talk about a marketing nightmare. It's like something out of a sitcom, but sadly, for Pepsi, it was all too real. Now, before we all start feeling too smug, let's be clear, Pepsi isn't alone in the world of translation fails. Oh no, the history of marketing is littered with these gems. There's the story of KFC. They took their iconic finger-licking good to China, only to discover it translated to something a little less appetizing. Eat your fingers off. Not exactly the culinary experience they were hoping to promote. And who could forget the Chevy Nova? A great car, but the name in Spanish, let's just say Novia, means doesn't go. Not exactly a selling point in Spanish-speaking countries. These stories, they're hilarious. We laugh, we shake our heads, but they also highlight a crucial point. Words matter, especially when you're trying to sell something. So what's the takeaway from all this? Simple. If you're going global, you better do your homework. Hire translators. Not just any translators, mind you. You need people who understand the nuances of language and culture. People who can tell you that maybe, just maybe, telling people your product will raise the dead isn't the best marketing strategy. It's all about respect, folks. Respect for your audience, respect for their language, and respect for the fine art of translation. Because in the world of global marketing, one wrong word can make all the difference.